We've worked ourselves into a corner now by keeping fire out for so long that when they do occur, they're much larger, much more devastating than they had ever been historically. This is what we have to come to terms with.
This is a fire like no other that I've seen in my time here in Yosemite. This was a fire that was bigger, it was more aggressive, it was building faster. This fire was being referred to by the media as the monster. So it really brought up a lot of emotions with a lot of people.
Rimfire was the third largest fire in California, but it was the first largest forest fire. That's what you don't hear. The other piece I think that's probably most interesting to me, probably never before in history, you had a fire that started around 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet down in the foothills Chaparral. And that burned all the way up to Lodgepole Pine. That's an incredible amount of, vegetation change that one fire did in 2 months.
So it was a really surreal experience to be up at Glacier Point and to be standing there doing sunset programs. And the focus, instead of being what it normally is, which is looking at Yosemite Valley and these amazing rock features and waterfalls and looking up into the high country towards Tuolumne Meadows, the focus of the public was definitely looking towards those pyrocumulus clouds, filling us with this ominous feeling of knowing that this area that we were seeing from afar was this massive, aggressive fire that was throwing up this weather system of its own. It was very difficult to stand up there and give a public program without a tear in my eye. It was this area of the park that I am so attached to and that I live in and do consider home was burning, and we were watching it from this vantage point, feeling physically separated, but emotionally still so close.
As the rimfire was approaching Yosemite National Park, it had already burned 3 significant river drainages and was threatening to move into the Merced River drainage, where it would ultimately threaten the 6 of Yosemite's communities, but also the Rockefeller Grove of giant sugar pines, and also the 2 giant sequoia groves, Tuolumne and Merced Grove. I was asked to come in as a firing boss to conduct a 15-mile firing operation blacklining show. That's an area of fuel or vegetation that's been blackened and burned so that when the approaching high-intensity wildfire hits it, it has nothing left to burn. The atmosphere leading up to and during the firing operation was very apprehensive. We didn't know if we were going to have enough time to successfully prepare to conduct the blacklining and firing operation. And it was really the crux of the rimfire as it approached Yosemite. If we were unsuccessful and the fire got established in the Merced River drainage, a 4th significant river drainage, it would not have boded well for Yosemite. I was very concerned as the rimfire approached Yosemite as to the success of our firing operation. However, having worked in fire, and specifically in prescribed fire for the last 20 years, I was intimately tied to this piece of ground. I personally was involved in multiple mechanical fuel reduction treatments, prescribed fires, and wildfire management along the Tiger Road corridor. While I was nervous about the fire threatening our communities and threatening Yosemite Valley, I knew that those projects would now show their true value and their true worth, and indeed they did. Largely because of those treatments that our firing operation was successful at stopping the rim in Yosemite.
So we were very satisfied and very pleased to see the success of previous management of fire and to actually see it on a map and to see it with the naked eye that it works, that nature has a way, it has a system, and we need to sometimes help to reintroduce parts of that system. Just like we reintroduce wild animals, we need to reintroduce wildfire because it has that role of mitigating these disastrous wildfires.
So what Yosemite has done is had a long history of prescribed fire, about 40 years. And so by pre-burning the forest fuels, then when subsequent fires like the rim fire come through that area, they don't burn quite as hot. And so a lot of the trees make it through, but you killed some of the young trees and surface fuels that would have made that a much hotter fire in the future.
The rim fire is just the most recent example of these really large catastrophic wildfires that we're seeing more and more of in the Sierra Nevada. These dry forests are burning far more frequently and far more rapidly than they did in the past. And so we can draw a direct correlation between climate change, the droughts that we're seeing as a result, and these resulting larger wildfires.
I think the biggest lesson from the rim fire is really how essential those prescribed burns are. Those prescription burns did exactly what they were supposed to do. They slowed down that fire, they cooled down that fire, and allowed that fire to burn through the landscape in a much more manageable way and in a way that was much gentler on the landscape that was in front of it.
We want to use fire management practices to keep these types of disastrous fires from happening. It's possible. It's possible to manage our landscapes in such a way by introducing the fire and allowing fire so that these great dangerous conflagrations don't happen, that these multi-million-dollar events, that these losses of life and property don't have to happen.
National parks are the place to manage fire. Because really our mission is just two things held in balance. One is restoring and maintaining these resources for future generations, and the other is allowing visitors to experience that. National parks can showcase natural ecosystem, smoke coming out of the hills. They're still able to see it, it's safe. That's a restored system.
Fire is a part of Yosemite, just like sunlight is a part of Yosemite, like the water that comes off the walls in Yosemite, like the bears that come through Yosemite. People don't often see it as an integral and natural part of the environment that we protect and preserve here, but that's exactly what it is.
I think one of the beautiful things about Yosemite, it's always going to be in a state of change. You see growth, you see death, you see vistas open up, you see vistas closing up, and that's Yosemite National Park. The park is big enough that these natural processes happen on the landscape and you get to witness that. That's Yosemite.